Hi guys, we're lucky today as we have got the brand new Sinn 1561 pilot chronograph, and it's a bit of a looker, I have to say. This was only released a few weeks back and I think it just looks absolutely stunning. It was available in this or the limited edition version, and personally, I don't know, I think this one might look a little bit better than the limited. The 156 had been with Sinn for many years. It started off, I believe, in the early 80s. It was available in two different guises. You either had this kind of bicompax one here with two subdials, or you had one with a third subdial at the top, and that was a 24-hour indicator. But to be fair, I think this kind of twin arrangement here looks a lot cleaner than the triple one. I really do think, yeah, it just looks sharp, this watch. But before I get too far into this review, I've got to say massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth for allowing me to review this piece. They've been super friendly, super helpful. They kept these watches aside for me to review, and it's really good of them. So, yeah, strongly recommend popping into the shop if you're in the Midlands area of the UK. If you're further afield, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description below and at the bottom of the page. All I ask is you please mention the channel. So anyway, let's talk sizes first. It's coming in at a fraction under 43mm, around about 42.8mm. The thickness, it's quite surprising because it doesn't look thick at all. The way they've designed it, it kind of hides its bulk really, because it actually comes in at 15.7mm, albeit a lot of it is on that crystal as well there. But lug to lug size is quite long. It's 50.8mm, which is a little bit longer than most Sinns, to be fair. And the strap size is 22mm. Now, the dial I think looks crisp and sharp on this model. The white and red on the black really just makes it kind of, yeah, pop, I think. Now, obviously this is a chronograph, so let's set a chronograph running. And that's it going there. Now, you may notice we have a satin black here, and we have the two different colours of the hands here. All of the red are basically chronograph. So this is the seconds for your chronograph, and that is the minutes, and here we have the hours. So you can time up to a 12-hour period with this. Now, obviously, this is a central mounted chronograph. Now, the advantages of that, it's much easier to read at a glance. Years ago, before we were using all smartwatches and all that lot, I was using my EZM1 as a running companion because you could actually read the time so much quicker and easier with a central mounted chronograph. I did try it once on a 7750 movement one with three actual subdials, and you can't read. I couldn't read that while I was running at all. But this one I find is just great. So as I say, this will just pop over now, and this hand here will indicate your minutes. You'll see it just go, boom, and it clips over there. So one advantage this movement has over the other one, the older movement, the 5100 Lemanier, would slowly creep round, where this one does actually make the jump from one indices to the next. Now, what that means here, we've got our hour hand, minute hand. We have a syringe style here, which goes nicely out to this printed on hour and minute track here, and we have a constant running seconds for air. Now, the loom on this watch isn't bad at all. It looks nice and sharp on it. It really, you know, I haven't tested to see how long it lasts. I'm wanting to get a review of this straight out, but if it's anything like the other ones, it should be good. Obviously, we have a Sinn Frankfurt Main here. We have the name of the movement there. Automatic date window here. It is set quite far back, actually, which is quite surprising. Obviously, this movement, yeah, that's how the calendar works on there, because you've got cams to reset the rest. That's the reason why it's set back further. And the made in Germany down there. Now, as we come past that, we're greeted with this rather nice sapphire crystal. You've got a big dome on that sapphire there. As you can see, it is double dome. You get a certain amount of magnification as you come around this. It does have AR coating on there, but it's on both sides. Now, some people don't like that because they say you can scratch it on the outside. Well, yeah, this is true, you can do. But if it disturbs you that much, you can always get a watchmaker to polish it off and remove it, or you can actually do it yourself. I do have a video on how to do that as well. Now, this bezel is a little bit more unusual. Obviously, being that it's black, it's been hardened with the Sinn tagmenting technology. So what that means is this will be quite hard to scratch. It should be around about 1800 Vickers, which is, don't get me wrong, you can scratch it, you can dent it, but the scratch side of it, it should pretty well wear off most scratches with no problem. These are very, very tough. I've got black Sinn watches from many years ago and they still look like new. You do have a loom pip up at the 12 o'clock position. One thing I would say is the actual minute markers going around here, they're not etched in, they're only printed on there, which is a little bit of a shame, to be fair. Now, another thing to note, it's not a ratchet bezel, it's a friction bezel. It can slide both ways, and I must say, it feels nice. It's not too easy to move, but it's not too hard either, and it just feels good. Very easy to purchase with machining on the side there. It also has what's called Sinn's captive bezel technology. So basically you have these small screws set in there, and that way if you back them off, you can just lift the bezel off. You don't need a case knife to actually pop it off. So I think that's a more refined system of doing it. So there you go. That is, I think, very nice. I like the way it's kind of, it's not a real stark black. It's more like a lighter black. I do think that looks very nice on there. Now, the case of the watch, it is bead blasted. So that's what gives it this satin finish there. And it also stops any reflections off the watch. And it makes it a tiny bit harder, actually. You get a certain amount of work hardening on there. I like the finish. All I would say, if you do scratch the finish, it makes it harder to actually refinish. It can be done, but it just makes it a little tiny bit harder. But anyway, it does look great. You do have drilled lugs as well, which is a nice touch on this. Coming around here, we have our pushers and our sign crown there. The crown itself, screwed down nicely on there. It does have water resistance, albeit only 100 meters. I say 100 meters, like many companies don't even do that, but you do have 100 meters of water resistance there. Let's have a reset on here. Nice, goes back perfect, no problem at all. Now, as we come round to the back, we are greeted with a solid case back. I'm not a big fan of solid case backs. I prefer them if they're actually display case backs, because sometimes you can diagnose a problem. And to be fair, the movement just looks so good anyway. But the movement behind this is the Sinn SX01, and what that actually is well, it's based on an ETA 7750, which is an absolute solid movement, really a great workhorse of a chronograph, but they've converted it, and you've got this, I'm not quite sure how they do it, but they basically allows you to do the hand stack like this, and it is very, very cool, I think. Power reserve of roughly 44 hours, 25 joules. I put this one on the time graph, and I think it was coming about I think it was +3. So again, really good. Sinn regulations are normally spot on, and normally well within chronometer specs as well, which is always a plus. Now, the strap on this watch, it does look good. I must say, it really does look good, and it's all signed up as well. The only thing I would say, though, is I've got a feeling it would age quite prematurely on this one. You know, the good thing is it's got drilled lugs. You can pop this out and put any strap you want on this. Even at a factory, they do offer a number of variations you can have, but there is also a metal bracelet available for this model as well. So, one other thing, with the buckle up here is all bead blasted as well. It is a pin style one. I do prefer normally around a little bit wider, but it is what it is. Overall, I don't care because it does look very good. Let me put this on my wrist so you got an idea how it looks. Just zoom out now. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing my new, well, at least new to me anyway, Larco limited edition. I don't even know the name of it. I think it's B42 limited edition. I'm not 100% sure, but there will be a review of that coming out. Oh, and Bob had to outdo me. Bob's just happens to be wearing the limited edition version of this watch. I know, he always has to outdo me. Now, let's put this on my wrist so you got an idea how it looks. Oh, I should say it's also got a low pressure rating of Sinn as well. I've got a wrist size of 7¼ inches, which works out around about 18.5 centimeters. and no problem at all. It looks superb, I think. As for size, I reckon 7.5 or maybe a bit more, 7.75, you might be able to fit on there. But let's face it, it's a strap. You can buy them, no problem at all. So overall, I think it is stunning. Let me know what you guys think. And most importantly, you stay safe up there. Take care. Bye.